handler helmet, handler chest, handler gloves, handler waist, handler pants. Alma, host the handler. It's giving quests. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, why do we hunt? In essence, we hunt so that we can make equipment, which will enable us to hunt harder monsters and make cooler equipment, and for some of them it's about the hunts, and for others it's about the pure drip of it all. The fashion sets that you can create by mixing and matching pieces from different monsters or sets, and then getting really detailed on the armor pigments to make it all just flow into each other beautifully. And there are a few things that I like more than seeing just how creative players are when coming up with their fashion sets in Monster Hunter. And so we have our fashion show series. All of these fashion sets are submitted by you guys. We've gone through all of the entries and picked out our favorites, and you guys have been submitting some absolutely glorious sets to the point that we keep just having an overload of fashion. So today we're going to do a one-time format change to essentially help us catch up to fresh title update stuff faster, while also making sure that we don't leave out any fashion sets that really need to be shared with the world. So for this week, we've got a top 20 fashion sets, as well as 5 honorable mentions and 2 cosplay specific awards as well. So strap in your fashion. That sounded way cooler in my head. As well as worth mentioning, the actual numbered ranking is purely just my own opinion. The main point of all of this is just to share really cool fashion sets with you all from the community themselves. So I hope that you all enjoy the show. If any of you want to participate in the series in the future, the link to send your sets will be either at the top of the description of the video or pinned in the comments. Send in some video clips of your fashion, give us a name for your look and a name to credit you by, and please, 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 if you want us to actually see your sets, make sure that you do not send it with a link that will expire over time or with a private link. Make sure everything is set to be shareable before it goes in. This week's winner, even as a non-spoiler of course, is someone who originally sent their links in a way that they weren't viewable to us, fixed it and sent them again in a shareable way, and now they're in the top spot, so just make sure that you give yourself a proper shot. That said, let's dive into the 20th place slot, which is called Musketeer, submitted by Kid Panther. This set uses the lovely matte textures of alloy armor and the Hope waist, sends it to the full deepest darkest black, and then gets a very vibrant indigo for the rest, which turns into an almost glowing purple-like color with the game's lighting is added on top of it. The only thing at all holding this one back in my eyes is the fact that the feather on the Equementry's hat is locked to being red, so it doesn't really match, but as a set as a whole, I really do like this one, especially with the addition of the tights to make it match the whole way through. Next up in 19th is Battle Ready Wyverian, submitted by Draganima. This set is somewhat simple, but comes together really quite nicely, using the battle chest and legs, but it's mixing the male chest with the female legs, which do work quite well together, then the Hope waist once again, and then the commission gloves, then working in the Wyverian ears to fit the character concept in general is something that I can always appreciate. The colors are nice, the textures all match, it's just a nice, lovely little fashion set. Moving on to 18th place, we have the High Orc General by the Mighty Grigor, and this one is awesome. They've made their entire character concept an orc, using the character creator exceedingly well for this. The skin color, the makeup, little tusk fangs going on there from the mouth, the scarred eyes, and the Wyverian ears to really sell it as well, and then just some really nice color work being done through the Death Stench chest, the Blango waist, the Gravios arms, and the bone pants to make it a set that just comes together quite well, and with quite the lovely theme to it too. And because they asked me to mention it, their cat here is named Bugluck, and their frog companion is Gorb. All hail Gorb. In 17th place, we have Guild Queen, submitted by the Irish Fool. That's their username, I don't just have a random hate for the Irish, and this set is lovely. The Lullabarina legs and arms flow very nicely in general, but connecting them using the Guild Knight waist into the female battle chest is very, very nice. And while it is very slightly off, I love the way that the seam in the middle of the jacket almost matches the positioning of the waist coming down over on top of the skirt. The colors are lovely in general, and then using the Azu's headdress unique hairstyle to give it an extra regal feeling is quite a fun addition as well. In the 16th spot today, I've got Valkyrie, a set submitted by Novala, and this is just a lovely white, black, and gray combo overall, using Guardian Arkveld helmet, Duna chest piece, Ray Dow gloves and pants, and the Guardian artian seikret waist, which is one of my favorite waists and also one of the harder ones to match well with. The mix of the helmet and the waist do give it a very Valkyrie-like aesthetic, and the chest piece works great as sleek and form-fitting battle armor that isn't too weighed down, and then the gloves and legs just go together extremely well too, and with the pigment work that they've done, they match the rest of the set quite well too. Moving on to the number 15 slot, we have an unnamed set sent in by Neotrix. This set uses gore helmet for the horns, Raidao chest, Lala Barina gloves, gore magala waist, and then arkveld legs peeking out underneath. The extremely vibrant hot pink sort of ties it all together quite well, but the parts of this that I especially like are the similarity in texture between the hot pink scaling near the bottom of the arkveld legs and the hot pink scaling on the abdominal area of the Raidao chest piece. The connection from Raidao chest into Lala Barina arms with them like perfectly fitting in the wide sleeves, it actually looks really nice to me, and then the horns from the gore helmet matching the upward pointing nature of the spikes on the Raidao chest as well. And it looks incredible in the dark. Next up in the 14th slot, we have another unnamed set, this one being submitted by 13 Candles. This is another one using that Raidao chest, but also a couple more Raidao pieces with it, making it all dark and spooky, and then working in the Rompopolo gloves too with a little syringe setup is great with it. It feels like a semi-futuristic Grim Reaper, some very like techwear type shapes going on with the setup in general, and I like techwear as a fashion style, but it works with the demonic looking Raidao face on the belt buckle. It feels like they end the lives of their victims with the liquid coming from the syringes. It may be 3 pieces of Raidao armor, but this doesn't feel very Raidao at all, and I like the color work that they've used here to make it all fit together. Then up in 13th place, we have the Battle Maiden from L98N, and this just uses some really lovely color matching to mix together 5 different sets into one in a really fitting way. The Guild Ace boots perfectly flow into the Hirabami waist inner fabric, the scaly skin fabric working with the midsection of the ingot chest, and of course the actual metal bits of Hirabami being color matched by the alloy metal is great too. Then the battle arms for a bit of a shakeup in shape, and the Lala Barina headgear has a great material match once again, both with the monster material crown type bit fitting the midsection of alloy again, and then the bright flowers fitting the accent on the waist as well. Just a really lovely set overall in my opinion. Next up in 12th place, we actually have a cosplay, which is Gyro Zeppeli, submitted by Bellman, and this is a cosplay of a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character for those who don't know, but the thing is, well, I think this is a pretty good cosplay. It probably wouldn't quite be my top choice for specifically cosplay rankings, but I just think it's a really good outfit in general. Even regardless of that, I think this character looks really good. The combo of the hat and hair into the Shewu chest piece is great, and then the connection through to the leather gloves isn't something that I would expect to work well, but it sort of works perfectly for that western type aesthetic. Then they battled with that vibrant green accent again right into the Kutku greaves of all things, which look like they were perfectly picked to match the rest of the set, despite the forced Kutku coloring not being something that I would expect to fit as well as it actually does. And in the end, I think it's just a really solid fashion set, regardless of the cosplay attempt behind it, honestly. Then in 11th place today, we have the Archangel by Guildmaster Zero, and this is our first Title Update 1 successful submission, and to be clear, I think visually it is absolutely stunning. It is a gorgeous set, but I didn't want it to place too highly, purely because, well, it's 3 pieces of the same armor set, and all the pigments are one color. But even with that said, even so, even regardless of that, it still looks undeniably beautiful as a set, right? So it just didn't feel right not showing you all as a result, so it had to be somewhere on the list, and while it might have been higher if there was a bit more piece mixture within it, I still think it needs to be at least here because of how good it looks regardless. It's a simple set for sure, but a very, very good one, and I like the bonus pieces that they've selected to tie it together. Moving on to 10th place, we have the Mystic, submitted once again by the Mighty Grigor. I love the Kanafa cloak as a chest piece so much, but it tends to be a bit hard to match the other pieces. This set does a great job of it, however, using a mix of the duna waist, which has a little baubles hanging off of it where they're color matched perfectly to the Kanafa cloak here, then the darker undershirt and the colors from the Kanafa cloak pigments matching perfectly with the dark pigment of the waist into the extremely dark Raidao pants underneath it. The colors really sort of just flow downwards in this one in a way that I really like, and then the bone helmet just to tie it together as a shaman type set with the bone colors colors having a number of matching parts with the accessories on Kanafa cloak and with duna waist too, and then just death stench gloves in for the vibes really. Following that in 9th place, another bone helmet but done very differently with Barbarian King, an entry from Calum. I absolutely love the fiery but natural red hair color that they've gone with here as the main sort of shade of coloring of the set, and then getting all the rest of it to be quite dark but still bone textured is very fitting too. It almost feels like an Elden Ring fire giant character but scaled down, but this would be fitting for the king of the fire giants, fitting the name that they gave it of Barbarian King. And I just think it goes together very well, and yes, it's 2 pieces of arkveld, 2 pieces of dober, and then the bone helmet, but when it looks this good, it can be forgiven for being mostly just 2 sets stuffed together. Going to 8th place then, we've got Cyber Hunt 2077 submitted by Beodrom. And this is really just unique as all hell, honestly. The goal is quite clear from the name of it. They're going for a cyberpunk style, looks futuristic but purposefully off kilter and against the norm, and I think they've done a really great job with that. The colors are extremely bright, they're funky, they pop, they fit the concept, but the Artian legs into the chainmail belt into the Rompopolo chest works really surprisingly well to me, with the chainmail belt being an incredibly good sort of blending piece between the two, and then the battle arms which fit nicely too. Then the cyberpunk-esque hairstyle with the color matching the default red lines going up the Rompopolo chest that you can't change, and that actually works quite well, especially with the little hot purpley bits on the pool floaty going on with the chest. It's funky as hell, but it all just sort of works, and I like it quite a bit. Up in 7th place today we have Piercing Rhyme, a set sent in by Stars Over Mars. This set is a direct mix of 3 pieces of Lala Barina armor with 2 pieces of Jin Dahaad armor, and yet it works really well. The colors, especially after the pigment work done, balance quite well together, and nothing really looks out of place, mostly due to the pigmenting done on the helmet, which perfectly ties together the arms and the legs into the rest of the set. Overall, this one is definitely quite odd, it's definitely a bit unusual, but I have this just sort of impulsive draw towards saying it looks fantastic, so I'm going with my gut on this one and saying, hey, this looks great. Next up in 6th place we have the Casual Hunter fashion set sent in by Joa Pack. This uses the new Clerk chest piece and Strategist spectacle glasses, combines it with the leather pants, Chotacabra waist, and then completely turns off gloves entirely to use the underclothes, basic little hand coverings, and this looks awesome, honestly. This, to me, looks like an NPC has been added to the game. Like, I could totally believe the guild sent in another hunting unit, and this is the handler for that unit. Or maybe she worked with the endemic research lads in the command tent of the Windward Plains, but this, either way, regardless of how you look at it, I just think it's a really well put together look in general. They only sent in 11 seconds of footage, and I wish there was more that I could show you of this, but this set is awesome, and I wanted to make sure that people got to see it. Then we have our 5th place entry for this week, which is The Bard, submitted by Dr. Funkin. And as a music lover myself and a lover of musicians, I love this set. It uses the Lala Barina chest and gloves, which is just an iconic look. It mixes it with the Guild Knight hat, which is a perfect bard mix, one of my favorite hats in general personally, then the Shuwu waist, which perfectly works into the gold on the hat as well, but then also the underside's bright blue gives more to match with on the chest piece as well. Then the Guild Ace boots to pull it together, and the color on these perfectly matches the unchangeable scaly vest coloring on the Lala Barina chest, which in this lighting looks like a very pale blue, but is actually more like a green-gray type of mix, as you can see on the pigment of the legs. They've used this purposefully to slowly meld into the deeper green of an Artian weapon when using their actual weapon, and this works in a way that makes the set work wonderfully without the Artian weapon, but it doesn't mismatch horribly if you're using the Artian weapon either. Then moving on to our 4th place slot today, we have Halloween Night, submitted by I'm Horrible, and this is one that is actually pretty awesome for a number of reasons. The black and orange color scheme is always really nice, generally underused in my opinion, and orange is one of my personal favorite colors I just don't see people mess with very frequently. But the beauty of this is that they are using the Piragil legs, which have an unchangeable scaling color, and the Blanco chest, which has an unchangeable scaling color right in the middle of the chest piece itself, and these colors work together extremely well between each other. Then they've used the pigments to make each of the other pieces also sort of match the color of that scaling a little bit, or otherwise just be a pure dark black. The Blanco chest works with Anjanath helmet extremely well, the alloy gloves fold in nicely too, but also fit perfectly with the Guild Knight waist, and then the Piragil greaves are a real sort of star of the show with this one in my opinion, being a main sort of decider of the aesthetic of the set completely. Next up in 3rd place we have Destroya, a set submitted by Zeja King, and I love this because it is a Kongolala barbarian in the simplest way of saying it, but it doesn't exactly reek of Kongolala either. It just fits in very well because the hunter is using pink hair in general, general. The usage of the arkveld helmet for the black horns and the wild haircut is fantastic for this look. The way that it melds into the Kongolala chest, having the black spiky shoulder pads and the pink fur works incredibly well. Then the Balahara gloves shape works perfectly with it, the coloring works perfectly of it, the natural Balahara scale coloring, and then the inner palm pigment being made that deep, vibrant red matches the red ropes on the bone waist that they've chosen extremely well too, which also, due to the pigment choices, has the color matched black horns for the helmet. Then this all flows into the Kongolala legs as well, which of course perfectly match the chest and have the pink fur on them too to match the hair. It just all comes together very, very well. It's a great theme, a great concept, and excellent execution. Then in second place we have Irathil, submitted by Leoric Silverbloom, and this is an absolutely awesome and unique fashion set. The Lala Barina waist is so overpowering normally that you don't often see it used in fashion sets because it's just hard to mix with other things outside of Lala Barina equipment itself. But this player has done something extraordinary with it really. Mixing it with the Kranadath chest is an inspired choice, the way that it melds together, and the gold in the chest could have looked a bit weird, but because they have the golden crown from the ingot set, it actually fits perfectly and beautifully and it looks lovely. Then the Lala Barina gloves peeking out at the bottom of the hands melts very well to the scaly bits of the waist too. And all of this flows into the Raydao pants of all things underneath, which feels like a direct match for the gloves and the pigment colors being used as well, and makes it feel like a battle set as well. Mostly the reasons that I adore this one are just how unusual it is compared to most of the other entries I've gone through, yet how well it all comes together to each other and it fits together at the end too. And now before we go to our final first place entry, let's stop and talk about our two cosplay winners of the week. The theme for these in general between the two is red. First submitted by Pride Ion, I'll let you look at it for a moment and see if you can figure it out, because that, my friends, is Captain Hook. Where's the hook? It's the weapon. Goddamn Lala Barina sickle to make the actual hook itself. It's well done, it's funny, but then of course the actual armor set is a near 1-for-1 of Captain Hook's outfit, so it works great. The coloring is also perfect, the hair choice is really solid, but what really sells it for me personally is the mustache and face shape above all else. They are absolutely spot on. Then for our other cosplay winner, it's motherfucking Deadpool, submitted by Dude Quinn, and what the hell? How is this actually this good? Like, this is surprisingly close to the exact layout of Deadpool's suit. There are some patches in different places, belts and straps and such, but the general shape and where the colors actually split off is nearly perfect, and it really just throws me for a loop how well they've done this. And yes, they did put red paint over their entire head and then black paint around their eyes and then make their eyes as pure white as possible, and that's the kind of commitment that really sells the bit for something like this. I'm a big fan of both the cosplay winners this week. Keep them coming, everyone. They are so good. Then finally, our first place entry for the day is an unnamed set sent in by Island Boy, henceforth known as Fashion Master 3000. The lighting and saturation is a bit funky, presumably their own game settings, but the moment that you get past that part, you can see the brilliance in this combination. It uses Guardian Ebony Odogaron chest piece and Guardian Rathalos arms to get a really nice matching shape and color set going on, then into the Rompopolo waist with a red-orange liquid going through, which matches the Wrath scales just the right amount from the arms, and then it flows into the Guardian Fulgurandath legs. Two of these pieces are using their fully default colors. The Rompopolo waist only has one color changed, which is the liquid in the tube to match their arms, and then the legs were made bright blue to try and contrast the waist and match the chest up higher. And it just all matches so well, and the fact that it's using so much, like, it's all different pieces, but multiple of them are using their default colors, and yet it matches. The chests and all the straps around the chest meld into the waist in a lovely way. The knees on the legs match the waist perfectly, but the actual boots match the chest. It's just absolutely stellar work, and it's an aesthetic style, and I'm a big fan of as well for a hunter. That does it for our actual entries now properly, but as we round off, I'll be showing off some honorable mentions in the background, which are just ones that I thought look still incredible, but just didn't quite make my top 20 list, either because they just didn't quite hit me as hard, maybe there was one minor nitpicky issue that I had with it, like a mismatched color or such, but these are all things that I still thought were absolutely worth sharing with you all, so you can all see them rather than just letting them stay buried in the submissions pile. Once again, thank you to everyone who submitted your entries. Please keep them coming in. These are an absolute pleasure to go through and share with the community as a whole, and it's crazy to think that the first episode of this series was only 5 sets and a cosplay, and that was it, and what this one has grown into at this point. And you guys have just been sending such incredible fashion sets ever since then. I We love it. That's it for today then, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let me know your own thoughts on any of this in the comments down below. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.